What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and this morning we're going to be talking about some exciting quality of life updates coming to Black Ops 6 Season 3. Definitely stay tuned. But in the comments, let me know which Season 3 that you can see on screen was your personal favorite. Like I've said before, I think the third seasons of just about every recent COD have been one of the strongest seasons of that respective game's life cycle. About the midway point through a Call of Duty title is when they're like, you know what, let's full send as much quality content as possible to really keep the game alive. I've been a real big fan of the Season 3s that we've gotten year after year, but once again, curious on how you guys are feeling. I know Black Ops 6's third season hasn't released yet, but so far the reveal looks promising. Jumping into another quality of life change that we're seeing in multiplayer specifically, a permanent party games playlist, which I believe will just sit in the quick play options. So considering we've gotten many party game modes already added into BO6, it was time to add this party games mosh pit in. And I get it, right? This should have been something that we probably saw at launch so that we're not waiting several seasons for a playlist or feature that we already had in many recent Black Ops games, but they are adding Sharpshooter during the launch window, a party mode that we haven't seen since Black Ops 2, where your loadout shifts every 45 seconds. Regardless of how many kills you get with that loadout, it's not like gun game. Everybody's loadout will change at the same time, and you also get bonuses as you get kills, which will increase your ADS speed, movement speed, etc., etc. But Demolition, a mode that I think is a great variant of Search and Destroy, is also going to be added here in Season 3, which we last saw in Cold War. But speaking of Cold War, I'm getting heavy vibes of that game with this season's multiplayer offering. Even though we haven't played the maps yet, we got a nice glimpse of the maps we're going to be experiencing through the intro cinematic cutscene. I do believe a maps overview trailer with additional gameplay will probably end up dropping in the next day or two. But looking at how strong the narrative is looking for these maps, and by the way, I get it, gameplay is much more important for multiplayer than the story is, but I just love it when Treyarch adds in MP maps that are either pulled from areas similar to campaign missions or areas that are deep in the lore of the current game, you know, areas that really do matter as far as the story progression. So we're going to be seeing the Barrage map set in 1968 Vietnam, heavy Black Ops 1 vibes. We also have Nomad, a strike experience set in Afghan, which will kind of be flashing us back to the past missions of Black Ops 2. And then we have Firing Range, the one and only map that has been in almost every Black Ops game but ended up skipping Cold War. We had two variants of it in BO4, but looks like it'll be aesthetically a little bit different here in BO6. Still the same layout nonetheless, and is an area that is being pulled from what could be an eventual Warzone space that is Avalon. But we then have Haven, set in a KGB safe house in 1991. The map looks pretty damn cool, kind of reminds me of Mansion a little bit, which was a gunfight map in Cold War. But funny enough, this map is making the rounds because the press is claiming that apparently this map was saved from Modern Warfare 3 and was developed by Sledgehammer. Around the end of MW3's life cycle, there was a rumor that Activision was holding onto some maps that Sledgehammer already made and will be dropping them in BO6. We just weren't sure which maps those actually were, and we still don't know if any Sledgehammer maps are currently live in Black Ops 6. Luckily, Sledgehammer killed it with development on multiplayer last year, so this is totally fine by me, but people also speculated because the TAC map image kind of resembles the MW3 TAC map with all the red design all over it. That probably is an indicator that Sledgehammer may have made this map. It's just unclear if Activision will ever go public with that. But lastly, we have Signal, a strike map coming during the mid-season along with Haven, which is set on the Rusalka, a number station that we saw in the Black Ops 1 campaign. Again, it's great to see iconic locations turned into MP maps that maybe we haven't experienced in over a decade. And rumors suggest that this was apparently a scrapped map from BO1 multiplayer that never ended up making it. I guess it would have been odd because you couldn't actually use kill streaks in this map if this existed in BO1 since you're completely indoors. Hence why it actually works out that this map is now a strike map, which will allow you to earn streaks anyway. Now, before we continue, I want to let you know about today's sponsor, Aniba, an online marketplace that offers the best deals on digital gift cards, game codes, and even DLC. Users can also earn cash back on select purchases so that they can play more and spend less. If you want to check out Aniba, then click on the special link down below in this video's description or the pinned comment. And thank you to Aniba for sponsoring tonight's video. But amongst one of the biggest quality of life updates coming in Season 3 is the return of panic knifing through a perk. So I can't tell you how many times I've died because I just needed to panic knife and I couldn't. Sometimes gun butting with the weapon won't exactly kill your enemy unless they've already been weakened. Now we haven't seen panic knifing since what, Call of Duty Ghost, I want to say? And obviously if you pull out a melee weapon, you could just use that, but if you're holding your weapon, your regular weapon that is, you can't ever really take out your melee unless you switch to that weapon. And since we have a dedicated melee slot in BO6, I suppose that could suffice for most people, but what about the ability to instantly use your melee weapon on your loadout just by hitting your R3 or whatever button you guys use to attack? You can now do that with this perk, which will be in the first perk slot and is an enforcer, as they will automatically use your dedicated melee attack when you perform a weapon butt. And they also added like the old days, just to remind you that yes, panic knifing was a staple of Call of Duty for many years. Now here's something that I've seen lots of questions about over the last few months that had me pretty confused, and that is the ability to mix and match your blueprint attachments. For whatever reason, this was a feature that was live during the launch window for about a day or two, and I think even returned during Season 1 briefly before the feature was ultimately removed. I believe there was a glitch or exploit allowing people to mix and match camos, and even go ahead and apply Modern Warfare camos to their Black Ops 6 weapons. So I think whenever that got patched out, that also for some reason affected the ability to mix and match your blueprint attachments. So as they wrote in the blog, you can now fully customize any BO6 base weapon or weapon blueprint with the skin that you've unlocked or purchased across MP, Zombies, and Warzone. There's a little catch though. For base weapons, you can only change the skin of the base, not any attachments, which I suppose is okay because for blueprints, you can customize the skins with other existing attachments. So if you go ahead and click on some of your attachments, you can see that you clearly have skins for some of them that you may have pulled from the battle pass or a specific bundle that you bought. So I've been following some of the Reddit posts that have gone up over the last few months with screenshots of this feature that was originally live but later got removed, and people are pretty happy this got confirmed. So again, this is a feature that we did see in Modern Warfare 2 and 3 multiplayer, and the ability to use this in Warzone has for some reason been broken for Modern Warfare weapons, but may hopefully get fixed with Season 3, and will not just work for BO6 weapons, but hopefully MW ones while you play Verdansk. Now, I'll tell you what's real interesting, though, is that a pop-up in-game, while somebody was navigating through the gunsmith a few months ago, did depict camo mixing. Camo mixing has been rumored for many, many years now, and was allegedly being developed for Modern Warfare 2 and 3, but never ended up coming out. So it looks like Black Ops 6 may have taken it a step further, and maybe has streamlined that feature, and is planning to release that feature at some point soon. Maybe Treyarch is starting with blueprint mixing, and then we'll move on to camo mixing in the next season or two, hopefully sooner, but that would mean you'd be able to mix certain attachments that look gold with ones that look diamond, or dark spine, dark matter. I mean, even mixing different mastery camos from MP, Warzone, and Zombies on a single weapon alone, that would be fantastic. And I know the image from Reddit kind of depicts the blueprint mixing feature that we've already talked about, but you can clearly see dark matter and gold on that blueprint, meaning that the feature would probably allow you to just apply a camo to each individual attachment. Now, considering we're on the unified engine, I would hope that features like this could remain permanent and be a staple for every COD going forward. And if that rumored Call of Duty committee is real, hopefully they can ensure that there's this overarching thread of quality of life features like this that could remain in every COD going forward, on top of camo tracking, which released in Season 2 for BO6 and arguably could be better than the MW3 version of it, just hasn't really functioned properly in the last couple of weeks. Hopefully that also gets fixed and addressed with the Season 3 patch notes. But speaking of camos, Treyarch is also dropping a new user interface later in Season 3, so hopefully before Reloaded, which will be available in the Barracks and Challenges menu. This will allow you to view challenges you need to complete to unlock a weapon camo in a single location, with weapons sorted by furthest camo unlocked to the least. Simply visit the Camo Hub to start planning out the next steps on your journey to Dark Matter and Nebula. Abyss isn't mentioned here, so maybe this won't work for Warzone. I mean, camo tracking isn't even live in Warzone yet, so at the very least, this feature will be live for multiplayer and zombies, just so you can see something that I've actually been asking for on stream as of recently, one place that you can go to really see how close you are to finishing an entire weapon class. But to round things out, we also have some other real positive quality of life changes that will affect ranked play. On top of the much needed Ricochet updates that I talked about in the recent podcast, it looks like retroactive SR adjustments are also coming, meaning that if you lost SR because of a cheater that killed you, you'll be granted that SR back once that cheater gets banned. And they're also adding the ability to rejoin a match in progress. If, let's say, you disconnect, you have about 5 minutes to rejoin that game and ensure that there aren't any major SR penalties to your team if, again, you got disconnected from the match for reasons that were out of your control. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Figured I'd make a dedicated video talking a bit more about multiplayer and, of course, some real important quality of life changes that I think will just make the game better. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.